little kitty. Hey everybody! So I got my cute little kitty here. He's not really that little. He's a 27-pound, 3+ foot Maine Coon. He's a lion. He's a lion. But this movie is Keanu. It's about a cute little kitty. So I gotta show my cute little kitty on the video. But this one is directed by Peter Uncensored, and it's written by Jordan Peele, who wrote a lot of the skits for Key and Peele, the show on Comedy Central, along with Alex Rubens. Also stars Keegan-Michael Key, who's the other side of Key and Peele. And this is their first movie. The show ended last year, sadly. And I love their humor. I think they have awesome humor. And I was going into this movie with really high hopes because I wanted them to continue the awesomeness that they had created before. And I wasn't disappointed. It was actually a lot funnier than I thought it would be. Now, one of my fears going into this movie was there are a lot of current comedies that rely on really gross humor or shock humor to get that uncomfortable laugh. And I'm tired of it. I mean, they've been doing that for so long, and I don't really find it funny. It's more just gross. And so when I was going into this movie, I was telling my friend Ted, I was like, okay, I hope that they don't do that really big, shock, disgusting humor moment that a lot of these comedies are doing. And I didn't want to expect it either because Jordan Peele is a great comedic writer. And he doesn't need that. He doesn't need that kind of humor to make his movie memorable or likable. And thank God I was right. They had one joke that almost went there, but then didn't. And I was okay with that. It was basically 1 second. But it wasn't the actual gross joke. Like, they were almost referencing it, kind of a satire. I mean, this whole movie is basically a satire. So for those of you that don't know the reason for this movie and why it's called Keanu, is it's kind of a satire and a play on Keanu Reeves' movie John Wick, where John Wick's wife died and she gave him a puppy. After she had died, she left him a note and had a puppy delivered to him and said, please don't, basically find something to love, and then gave him the puppy. So that was like the last thing his wife ever gave him. And the puppy got killed during a break-in. It's a long story, but basically he goes apeshit and kills everyone that was involved. And so this is kind of a similar story in that Jordan Peele, his girlfriend broke up with him, and he finds a kitten on his front porch, this cute little kitten, and then he becomes super attached to it and, makes it part of his family. And this drug gang comes in and breaks into the wrong apartment. They break into his apartment instead of the apartment across the hall and ends up stealing Keanu. And so they go on this hunt to get Keanu back. It was very funny. I love the fact that they're the fish out of water, but they're not like stereotypes. I mean, Key and Peele are basically like the middle class minivan driving dad or normal it's like a normal person, and they kind of stick themselves into this gang era. Oh, you want down? Okay. And they put themselves in this arena, this world of gangs and drugs, because that's where the cat is. And they're trying to pretend and get into that world. They put themselves in weird situations just like any comedy would do. But there were a lot of moments that made me laugh out loud. I mean, I know they were playing on some stereotypes, but I do actually know people like that on both sides. I grew up in on the East Coast, and so I've known people that were of both sides. Not super intimately. I didn't become part of a drug trade or anything like that, but I've known people in that arena, in that era. And I'm a middle class guy, so I know a lot of people that are middle class. And so it was funny to see that dynamic back and forth. I found the humor right on point. And I also loved that George Michael was a huge part of this. For one, I love George Michael's music. I love 80s music. I grew up in that time period, 80s and 90s. So I love George Michael, and he was prominent in this movie. I did see an interview with Peele on a talk show. I can't remember which one. But they said that they called up George Michael and were basically say, hey, we were doing this movie. And he said yes immediately. Didn't read the script. He was just on board. Obviously, I think he was a fan of Key and Peele ahead of time, so he would just do whatever they were going to do. But it fits so well in the movie. I'm glad that they went that route, and I'm really glad that George Michael had that kind of humor. Also, there was a report that came out a couple of days ago that my brother sent me that Keanu Reeves actually voices the cat of Keanu. And I didn't understand quite what that meant. I read a little bit of the article, but I didn't want to get spoiled. So spoilers, if you don't want to know, don't go forward. Watch the movie, come back. Okay. So Keegan Key, accidentally goes into this, smokes a drug he wasn't supposed to smoke, starts hallucinating, and there's a moment where he's talking to the kitten, and the kitten is talking to him, and it's Keanu Reeves is actually voicing the kitten. And I thought that was awesome in that Keanu Reeves has the sense of humor to, satire his own movies. I loved that. I thought that was great. All in all, I would give the movie about a 7.5 out of 10. There were some jokes that fell flat or didn't quite work. But for the most part, it made me laugh. I was happy when I left the theater. I can't wait to see the next thing that Key and Peele do. I'm hoping they do another movie. I liked it. And I suggest people seeing it. But tell me what you guys thought. If you saw the movie, comment below and let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, and I will see you on the next video.